I'm hearing two of everything. Are you hearing two of everything?
I'm not hearing two of everything.
That's good. Oh, there it is. It was streaming too at the same time, so I was hearing it delayed. Awesome. All right. What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here
to
too.
be here.
Really glad you're here. So tonight we've got man, I feel like I'm all over the place. I've been wanting to make a video for about a month now. This was you can please don't steal this. I've been wanting to make it. Go ahead and get your notebook out.
totally not getting the notebook out.
I'm gonna do a video. Maybe we need to collab on it. I want to do a video on my evil plan to save the gaming industry.
Is it evil though?
Is it? I don't know. I feel like somebody has an evil plan to destroy the gaming industry. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Let's see. Saint Murdoch says woot. Dan says yo. What's up, everybody? You say. What up, Nerd Cave?
Good to see you as well, Murdoch. I turned myself up, so hopefully that fixes that.
Okay, good. I can tell you turned it up. Yeah, that's good. Want to be able to hear everybody. Edward, how's it going? Nice to see you here. Yeah, I feel like I'm a little bit, my brain's all over the place because there's just been so much news lately, and I haven't had time to cover any of it between the 9 to 5 and family stuff and holidays and all the things. And I know that you've been in a little bit of a maybe changing some schedules and stuff over on your channel. Is that still going on?
Yeah, we are officially have moved. This week will be the first one. Nerd Cave News will be on Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
Really?
Time. Yeah.
Wednesdays.
Yeah. So
wow. How long has it been on Thursdays?
Probably 2 years. We were on Fridays for about 6 months, but since then it's been on Thursdays. But I've had a Thursday stream for probably 5 years, so this will be the first time that I won't have a Thursday stream.
Man,
which is really weird for me.
Do you even know what you're gonna do on Thursday night?
Well,
you're gonna be like, what I do with myself?
What I would do on Wednesday nights will be now on Thursday. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So will that be good for Derek then too? Will he be back on?
Yes, that's the whole reason why we're moving it, is so Derek can get back on the news, because he's working like 4 a.m. on every Friday. So us doing a stream at 7 o'clock, even if we got done at 9, it's no bueno.
Yeah, that's true. Well, cool. Okay, so will that be at 7 Central?
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, I actually work on Wednesday nights, so I probably won't be able to check it out. Maybe I can catch it on the backside,
on the replay.
On the replay. Yep. Oh man, yeah, he's throwing our schedules all out of whack.
I blame it on Derek. Don't blame it on me. Blame it on Derek.
You would say that no matter what it was.
Exactly.
Blame it on Derek.
That's how
it goes over there.
That's how it works. We used to have Kevin, but we don't have Kevin anymore. Kevin is our fictitious producer of the show that I would blame everything on. But
that's funny.
Anytime anything would go wrong, they're like, Kevin, what are you doing? But yeah, Kevin hasn't been around a while.
That's a good idea, actually. I need one of those over here. I think I need a Kevin.
You can borrow Kevin if you want.
Oh man. I poached Kevin. Actually, I offered him double what you were paying.
Yeah, double of zero is still zero.
Yes, Saint Murdoch. We hope you had a good Easter too.
Yes.
What's this?
So we used to do a show called Be a Light. It was on Tuesdays. We would play some games and then we would do Be a Light. It was kind of like a Bible study, and then we would jump into like what I call an XP group. And we would just play games and just hang out, that sort of deal. But then I got a full-time job, and because I was streaming like 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So because like I was just doing my own company, so I had a lot more free time. So
gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. Blame it on Kevin and then tell everybody you figured out why he got fired from their. Yeah, exactly. Kevin was embezzling.
Working hard.
That was his side hustle.
Oh, man. Wow. Wow. What's this look like? Oh, wow. It's right up in your face.
Yeah.
All right. So tonight, I want to talk about. I'm just going to run through the outline of what we're going to talk about real quick. I want to talk about what you've been playing, what I've been playing, and just if we are enjoying those things, if we recommend those things, right? I want to talk about April Fool's Day. It is April 1st, April Fool's Day, and if you've got any like April Fool's Day memories, pranks that you feel like were just awesome, I would like to hear that. I want to share a bit of my personal story that has to do with Easter and the loss of a family member, but also the Nintendo Wii and how all of those things came together to bring hope to my family, and laughter back to my family. And then I've got a giveaway, my first giveaway on the channel.
Let's go.
Yeah, and it's this controller sitting right here. We're giving away this controller that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago. And so we're going to do that around 10 o'clock. So if you would like to enter, you can do that. I have a pinned comment in the live chat on YouTube there with a link. All you have to do to enter that giveaway is click on that link and tell me one kind and encouraging thing that you've done for someone else today or in the past week or so. Keep it recent, and then that will enter you into the giveaway, and also unlock some bonus entries if you're interested in those. So head over there to that if you want to enter that before it's too late. And then last but not least, just a quick discussion probably tonight on whether or not there's been a lot of rumors about a mid-gen refresh with the PS5 Pro and some Xbox stuff, and whether or not we really need that. And I would like to hear your thoughts about that stuff tonight, Zach. So, yeah, we'll start with the game. What have you been playing lately?
So, been on the Helldivers 2 kind of train recently.
Still doing that?
I haven't played in the last week. I went back to Sea of Stars. I am almost done with Sea of Stars. Like I thought it was way closer than I was, and then it was just like wham. I won't tell you anything that happens, but it was like, oh my god.
Of those.
It was like, oh my god, there's like way more to this game than I thought. And like there was already a ton to it. And I'm just like, okay.
Wow.
All in the feels too. That game is so good. I know I feel like every time I talk to you or Yugi or Falcon, I'm always talking about Sea of Stars. But yeah,
it is good. I don't think I've gotten to that part of it though yet. I didn't get that far into it.
Yeah. You need to get back on it. I think you will enjoy it a lot. I know you already have.
There's a real pivotal moment you're telling me that just really.
There's a few, but this is the latest one. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I
gotcha.
I'm really, really digging it. My plan is to hopefully start playing Princess Peach on stream though. because I've really been wanting to play Showtime. I know a lot of people might not be as big on the Showtime as I am, but it looks really fun.
Well, did you download the demo?
I haven't downloaded it yet. I didn't know if I want. I almost want to play the demo just so I can see, do I spend the money on this?
So I did, and I didn't personally play it, but I watched my kids play it, and I like talked them through it because they were having some trouble in some spots, like knowing what to do or whatever. And I was like, I think you need to go do this, or but I will say this, that what I've heard about it, well, they give you 2 levels basically in the demo, and they're both, they're different from one another, and I think that's how it's going to be through the whole game. As you get the different costume or whatever, it's going to be very different kind of gameplay throughout the whole thing. And I thought that they were cool. They are obviously easier. They're on the easier side, right? Because it's I guess geared toward kids. But what I've heard is that it does get more difficult than the demo is, and a little more, I guess, immersive or whatever than what the demo would have you think. So I think the demo may not be exactly the best reflection of the game in its entirety, which is good. So I think you'd enjoy it. I'm still debating on getting it too. I might wait. Like, I think my daughter would really like to play it. I might wait for a holiday or birthday or something and get it then for her.
Dope. Yeah. I'm wanting to play it. I've saw the demo was out and I was like, do I want to? I don't know. I might take the plunge. I've been wanting it. For a very long time, just because it's interesting. It reminds me of Odyssey, and Odyssey's my favorite Mario. So it's like, okay, if I can get a little bit more of some Odyssey vibes, I'm all there for it.
Well, like in the demo, if I remember correctly, one of the levels is you become Chef Peach, and you have to make a cake.
Okay.
Now, I feel like I can say this because it's in the demo, right? I don't feel like this is a spoiler, but if I remember correctly, it was sort of like you had to put icing on the cake, right? But it was sort of like almost a rhythm game a little bit.
Okay.
Which was interesting, and you had to do a pattern and put the icing in the right spot, and it's, I don't know. I thought that's pretty cool.
I like that.
So yeah, I would be interested to see the rest of what, because Nintendo this is what they're good at, right? Is like taking a theme and then doing something really crazy creative with it, like that's their wheelhouse. And I feel like this is just going to be one of those games where you're like, oh, that was really clever how they implemented that costume into the gameplay, So
yeah. And I think that's the thing that appeals to me so much is it gets in that wheelhouse and there's depth that they can go into. It might not be the most challenging gameplay, but like, I'll be honest, like I'm not really looking for something challenging. I'm looking for some fun and a good little story. That's all I'm really looking for.
Not every game needs a nightmare mode. Not every game needs to be a Souls-like, No. Sometimes you just want to chill and have fun. And yeah, I also heard that this game is so good in the way that people see how they could take it and improve on the formula and do a sequel, like make it into a series. And I think that that's a really good sign too. Really positive sign. So
yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Yep.
What have you been playing?
So I kind of jump around a lot. Do you ever feel like you're just jumping around, like you have like 12 different games going at once?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel that way.
Yeah.
I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the PS5 and really liking that, but I'm only about a third of the way through it at this time. I've been doing a mixture of side quests and main quests. I'm trying to stick mostly to the main quests because I want to see the end. But I've been playing that. and it's great. Everything you've heard about it is pretty much true. Like, there are times when it looks absolutely gorgeous, and there are other times when you're like, ugh, where's the texture on that? I think they forgot to load that asset. They used the low res version of that. They should have. And then the gameplay itself, though, is more or less what you would expect from a Final Fantasy game. It's very much a Japanese RPG. It's, there's characters that are just completely over the top. But it's really fun. It's really fun, and I'm really enjoying the combat system. They've moved on from the turn-based days, and it's very much action oriented, a lot more fast-paced. It's not like Devil May Cry or anything, but it's much more fast-paced than it used to be, and I'm really enjoying it. I've also been playing. I just did a review on this. I want to do a review on Final Fantasy VII, but I'm afraid that I'll spend a bunch of time on it and nobody will watch it, so that may not happen. But I just reviewed a game called Max Mustard on the Quest 3. And it is, if you took Super Mario but made a VR game out of Super Mario, that's basically like a 3D Super Mario. So think like, actually probably the best comparison would be Super Mario 3D World or 3D Land. It's a lot like that in terms of how it's laid out, but it's in VR, and it's obviously not with Mario. It's with a character called Max Mustard. But the coolest thing about it is that it's not just a 3D platformer. It has first-person shooter elements in it as well, where you are basically Max's partner in this. So sometimes you get to play and interact with the world with a plunger gun and some other things. So you're shooting, like, literally shooting plungers out of this gun. But it's really cool how they implement it, and there's boss battles, and everything is very colorful and vibrant, and looks it's kid friendly. I think it's rated E. It might be E10, but it's definitely not more than E10. I think it's just E, rated E for everyone. Saint Murdoch. It's called Max Mustard. That's the name of the game. It's not augmented. It is in VR. It's not augmented reality. I haven't heard anything about that specifically. It's by the same company. If you are familiar with VR at all, Saint Murdoch, it is by the same people who made that. I can't remember what it's called. It's that plank game where you have to walk out on a plank, like at the top of a skyscraper, and it kind of was on TikTok, I think, for a while. People like freaking out because they were
only up.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think the word plank is in it. I could be wrong though. It's pretty new. It's a pretty new game. I don't think it's more than a year old, but they also made Max Mustard. So, but it's a completely different kind of game. That game's meant to scare you, like for people with the fear of heights. Like, you walk out on this plank and it looks like, you could fall to your death. So you try to balance on a board. But this is a 3D platformer, and it's really fun. And I am almost done with it because it's not crazy long. But anyway, yeah. But the mixture of controlling Max in the 3D platforming with the first-person shooter elements together combined is something that I've never really experienced before, and so I think it's just a really interesting mixture. It's been a lot of fun. So
that does sound really cool.
Yeah.
There's one game that I saw on IGN's Instagram over the weekend called Screenbound.
Screenbound?
Yeah, and it is very, very cool. I'll send you a link if you want to look at it real quick. I'll put it in the private chat. But you're like holding a Game Boy, and you can see like the 2D side scroller and your hands and all of this, and you're playing it, and around you is the rest of the world in 3D. Like, it is super interesting looking, and like I am very curious like how this is going to actually work. But like you can attack the enemies on the 2D screen, but their like loot drops are in the 3D world.
What is this going to be on PC, or what is this?
I think it's going to be coming to Steam, but it might be coming to other places. I'm not 100% sure. I just saw it on IGN and everything. So yeah, it looks really cool, like a lot of fun and everything, but I was like, that is a very different take on that genre and everything. I put it in the private chat if you wanted to look at it.
Okay. I'll show you this real quick. This is short. So there's that plunger gun.
Oh, that's cool. Huh.
So it's very cutesy.
Yeah.
But the thing that about VR that's so hard to communicate is that all of this really is like, it has all this depth to it, you know.
Yeah.
Like it really does seem like when they say step inside the game, like it really does feel like you're stepping into this world. And it's one of those games that's very comfortable to play too. Like this is not a nausea inducing VR game, you know. Like a lot of them are. And they actually have ratings for that in the Quest store now, that to tell you what's comfortable and what's going to be this is like it. Richie Plank Experience, that's the name of that game.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. You want to have Mario on your living room table?
Well,
yeah, that would be cool. And there are some, actually, I feel like, you like tabletop games, Zach? I feel like you probably
I like Risk. Sometimes. Yeah, I like Risk.
There are some VR games that are like that. They're like tabletop games that you play online with people.
That's cool.
And some of them are in mixed reality. There's one that's really popular called Demio. I've never tried it out, but it's supposed to be like, I guess, one of those like fantasy tabletop adventure games. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I know Nintendo announced their AR headset today.
Oh. On April 1st.
yeah, and it's literally what Murdoch is talking about right there. So
it's probably uses Labo. Does it use Labo?
No, it's the Virtual Boy is what it was called.
Oh, that's funny. That is really funny.
So
okay, this does look crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, they shared this today?
No, this was like over the weekend.
It's
so
like,
this is actually real.
I don't trust anything that was shared today.
No, of course not.
Huh.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I'd be curious to see what it actually is going to be like in the long run, other than just that, 10-second, type deal. So
yeah. Well, cool. I tell you what, I feel like console gaming has been for me anyway. Kind of stuck in a rut.
Oh yeah.
For a while, and having the Quest 3, most of them are like indie developers, so it's a lot of indie games pretty much for the most part, but it's really kind of reignited my my love for gaming a little bit, or giving me hope that there can be a future for gaming. Not that it has to be in VR, but just that there's still creative people out there making, coming up with new fresh ideas. And that game you just sent me, that looks pretty cool. It looks pretty fresh.
Yeah,
I like
feel
that.
like indie developers are, because they're dealing with a much smaller budget, they're usually having much more creative stories, because it's not, going through a committee, several writers. It's one person, and then their gameplay loops have to be interesting enough to be able to get you through that story. So I think a lot of times we get stuck in that, oh well, the graphics look great, and then we just keep getting Immortals of Avium kind of like level of stuff. It's not great.
what a disappointment.
Yeah,
that was.
Because it's gonna be on PlayStation Plus this month, so we'll play that.
That's
and
not
then
surprising.
Go over to
I'm
Foam
surprised
Stars.
I'm surprised it's not already on Game Pass. Yeah, pretty disappointing. But yeah, indie developers, man, like Sea of Stars. Like when you find those games that are just they're just unique, they're different, and oftentimes they don't consume your entire life. Like they don't take 500 hours or whatever of your life. I did not, Murdoch. I did not see that. I think I might have saw a headline that said that the Oculus Quest was dead. I think I did see that today, and I didn't click on it though. I didn't know if that was a prank or not. But the original, that makes sense. I mean, you got to move on at some point.
Yeah.
And
can't put all your resources
they're on the third
there.
one. Plus, they have the Pro, and there's rumors about a Quest 3 Lite coming later this year too. So, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Pro.
But, yeah. So, Zach.
Yes.
April, speaking of things that you can't trust on today, what have you seen any pranks today or in the past that you thought were particularly hilarious?
So I think gaming related, one of the best ones was back in the day, IGN's prank of the Virtual Boy 2 today was pretty good, I will admit. It was pretty funny. It looked absolutely ridiculous. But there was one several years ago where they made a trailer for a Zelda movie.
Dude,
and
that was my
really
pick.
Good. See? Great mind thinks alike.
I love it. Tell us about
that one
it.
right there is, I haven't watched it in forever, but it was like, it looked so realistic.
It did.
And this was before everybody did April Fool's pranks. And you're just like, oh my God, this can't be, like, I can't believe Nintendo's finally doing it. And then you get to the end and you're like, oh, it's April 1st.
Yeah.
It just kind of burst the bubble and everything, but it looks so good.
It did. I mean, this was, you got to realize it was 2008. I remember very specifically exactly where I was when I saw this trailer. And because that's how good it looked. I mean, that's how impressionable it was. This was before, like, we didn't have streaming Netflix yet. We didn't have, like, YouTube was still very young in 2008. Like, their production values, like YouTube production values, are like through the roof now, and some channels they are so professional looking. This was before all of that. And so what they did, they put out a very polished, for the time especially, it was a high quality, very polished. I mean, it had real people in it. This was a live action Zelda movie tease, and it tricked a lot of people. And I remember after it was over and realizing, oh, it's April 1st, I remember Googling, is the Zelda trailer real? Like, is this a prank? And And I was very disappointed that it was, because it's like a teaser trailer, right? There wasn't like a bunch of dialogue or something in it. But it was very quick shots of things happening, and yeah, very teasery, but it really seemed real. I mean, it really did. It was unbelievable. Like, it was like you said, like Nintendo's finally doing it, you know?
Yeah, I remember the other co-founder of the Nerd Cave, Derek Diamond, like, he was so stoked. He's like I'm talking about like ultra mega Zelda fan. And like, he was like freaking out. And then like, he realized that it was April Fool's, and it crushed him.
It was so disappointing to realize what day it was. Oh man.
Amy says, well, why do April Fool's jokes have to crush our dreams?
That is a very good point. Why do they have to crush our dreams?
So, one that is not gaming related, one that I didn't get to pull because Amy told me no. When I was retiring from teaching, I was going to make the announcement on April Fool's that I was retiring from teaching. So everybody would think it was an April Fool's joke. It's like, no, I'm actually leaving.
Double fooled.
Yeah, it's like, she's like, you cannot do that.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious.
It would have been.
Oh man.
Because like, the kids would be like, because I had like all the kids gathered when I like told them. So just imagine on April 1st, hey guys, I need y'all just for like 5 minutes, and just tell them that. And then they were like, oh, it's April 1st. He's not. No, it's true. Yeah, that would have been devastating. 100%. I had a lot of kids crying that day when I actually did announce it.
I thought you were all about that devastation, Zach. That's probably why you thought of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Power Wash Simulator teased the dirty mode. That's pretty funny.
That's great. Any others for you?
Well, I was going to do the Zelda one. That was mine. I saw one today that was from a YouTuber named Tech Dweeb, and Tech Dweeb does a lot of like retro handheld reviews. Have you seen this one? Look at that.
No.
Look at that wood grain.
I like that wood grain.
Doesn't that look sick?
Yeah.
I'm working on a review for this weekend for that. But he does a lot of those and a lot of like mini PC reviews.
Okay.
And he did one where there's a handheld called the Miu Mini Plus, and it basically runs up to PlayStation 1, and that's kind of where it caps out. I think they've got it running some DS games now too, but that's kind of a little more iffy. But it runs up to PS1 really well. So the Miu Mini, he put out this whole like 20-minute video of how he's like, I can't believe they did it. They got Steam OS on the Miu Mini Plus, and he's like, the whole video is of him with it in his hands playing like The Witcher 3 and playing Cyberpunk and
oh my god,
playing all this stuff. I don't know how he did it, because it really looks like it's playing on that screen, and I don't know.
He could.
He might have just been playing a video file on the device. That might be how he did it. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Because that would have been easier. That would have been way easier than doing like putting a green screen on there and then putting it on top of that.
Right.
Because then you'd have to track it.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was like, because he was moving, like his hand would move and he would tilt the device and stuff. And I'm like, man, how did he do that? But he had me for about a minute, honestly, because I was like, oh, maybe they did. Maybe they got some indie games running on there or something that would be interesting. But no, it was all a prank.
I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But
Dan down here.
What we got? Something to change my Facebook status to in a relationship.
I like it.
God bless you, Dan. That's funny. Um, cool. Well, so I'm gonna, I guess, move into my story about Easter, because as it happens, um, this story is about my cousin. Now, my cousin, um, his birthday, by the way, would have been today. It would have been April 1st. He passed away. He was driving home one day. It was in the middle of the day, and he was on his motorcycle, and he was following the rules. He had his helmet on and all the things. He was geared up, but someone who should not have been driving, because they had their license revoked, they pulled out from somewhere, and I'm trying to be vague. They pulled out from somewhere and ran over him with their van and killed him. And my family, that side of my family, we all lived in pretty close to one another, close enough that we weren't neighbors or anything, but we were close enough that we always spent holidays and birthdays. We would always get together and celebrate and eat and, and hang out and stuff, and kind of rotate through whose house we were going to and things like that. And so I grew up, and he with them, and with my family, and with him, and he was about my age. And so we were, we grew up together. And this was when he was 23. I think he was about 23. So, we were young adults, and just really getting our lives kind of started. And it was really devastating, because it was sudden, and it was tragic, and it was something that should never have happened. So I guess, don't drive under the influence, people. Please just don't do that. That's number one. So it was devastating for my family. And at the same time that happened, that fall was when the Nintendo released the Wii. And if you remember those days, the Wii was extremely hard to find. It was almost impossible to get your hands on one of those consoles, because it was super unique and different, and everybody wanted to play Wii Sports. Like, everybody wanted to play that around, right? So they're hard to find, and I wanted one, but couldn't find one. I didn't really have the money for one anyway. But before we were on the stream, we were talking about freelance stuff, and I got this freelance job, and working for a week, and they paid me at the end of the week. This was fast forward to the spring. I still hadn't found one, still really wanted a Wii. My family is still hurting, and we had gotten together we got together for Christmas, and it was weird. Like, it was weird because he should have been there, and it was just like nobody knew how to act. And it was seriously, Zach, it was like everyone in my family was afraid to laugh. It was like they were afraid to smile, because they were nervous that it would be inappropriate, because we had lost someone so close to us. And so, I mean, this went on for months and months and months, where everybody was just sad and mourning. And it was like, is the sun ever going to come back up, kind of a thing. Especially for his parents. And it's always like, you should never have to bury a child. And I always think about that scene in the Two Towers, or in Return of the King, where the king has to bury his son. He's like, a father should never have to bury his son, or whatever he says. And it's a very moving scene, but this wasn't a scene in a movie. This was real life. And it was hard. And it was like nobody had the permission to smile, or they felt like they couldn't, and or didn't want to. And so I got this freelance job. I worked the job, and they paid me at the end of the week in cash, which I wasn't expecting. But they paid me this like weird amount of $265 in cash, like not 250, not 300, not 275, but 265. And I literally, I counted the money like 3 times because I was like, why 265? Like, that's such a weird amount. Like, how do you even come up with that amount? You know, like, even if that doesn't even work out divided by 5, like it doesn't even work out right, you know, like it's just a weird thing. And so it kind of hit me that where I lived at the time, with sales tax included, the Wii was $264.98.
Wow.
And so I was like, God, if it's okay with you, I would like to earmark this for a Nintendo Wii. And I really didn't feel any hesitation to do that, which is like, why should God care about providing money for a Wii? That's like, we don't think about God like that, in those terms, like that he would care about little things, like little seemingly insignificant things like that. But I think that he does. And so I did not feel any kind of leading or prompting that would be wrong of me to do that. And so I did. I put the cash in my wallet. I carried it around in my wallet for about a month. And I'm in a GameStop or an EB Games or something. I don't remember what it was back then. But and I am just looking at the games on the shelf, and I hear behind me this little, I mean, when I say little old lady, like picture the epitome of a little old lady, and that was who was at the counter. And I hear her in her little old lady voice say, "Do you have any of these?" And she handed the guy a little like notepad piece of paper, because she had written it down, or somebody had written it down for her, a Nintendo Wii. And I don't think she knew how to say it. And the guy was like, "Actually, I think we do have one Nintendo Wii in the back." And my ears perked up like big time, right? And so I'm watching very quietly, hoping no one else heard this. And
it's like,
and and he comes out with the Nintendo Wii, and she buys it and walks off, and nobody else was at the counter. And so I walked up and I was like, "Do you happen to have one more of those?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, actually, we do have one more. We had 2.
Wow."
And so it's like, I would like to buy it. So he goes and gets it, and comes out. I buy it, and I leave with the Wii and my 2 pennies, and and I get home, and that was on Good Friday. And so 2 days later, on Easter, we were supposed to get together as a family, and we got together as a family on Easter after church, and everybody was there, and everybody was sad. And I took the Wii over there and hooked it up, and I said, I think we should, play this. Let's play this together. I just got this. It's brand new, and I think it would be fun if we did this. And we started making the me characters for everybody in my family. And people kind of like started to like kind of open up to it. And so we gave like my cousin's husband, he does not, like, he has the most normal hair of anybody, but we gave him like a big afro just to be silly, and he thought that was hilarious that we could do that. And so like people started getting into it, and then we started playing Wii Sports, and suddenly, it wasn't long before like even my grandparents started playing Wii Sports, because that was the thing with it. It was accessible to anybody, right? And so my grandfather, who I don't think has ever played a video game before or since, like, he got up and he was playing bowling and playing baseball, and and my grandma played, and like, like everybody was taking turns. And before I knew it, people were laughing. And I'm not kidding, Zach, when I say it had been so many months where I did not see anyone smile. And especially when we were together. But God provided me a job that then allowed me to get a Wii that somehow gave everyone permission to smile again. And there was something healing and powerful in that moment, even though we were doing something so goofy as playing Wii Sports and making me characters for our family. God used that moment to begin healing our family and bringing them back together, because there was something even with the not smiling and not laughing that was almost pulling our family apart in a way, because we didn't enjoy each other's company anymore. And I think maybe there was even a fear that, well, who's going to be next? Who's going to be ripped from us next? And if that could happen to him, like it could happen to any of us, but that brought us together, and we had fun together that night. And I just, like, still to this day, thank God for that Nintendo Wii, because I don't know how much longer that would have gone on if it hadn't been for that day and for those moments together. And so that's kind of my testimony of what God did through the Wii on Easter. And I thought it was appropriate because we just had Easter, and today would have been his birthday. And so I just want to share that story tonight with everybody.
I love that, man. That grief is interesting. I lost my best friend, Trevor, in a car accident. We were 19. So it was difficult. It wasn't a family member, but I saw how grief affected us all, as well. And some people never got over it. His family struggles with grief even now. And it's something that can really latch on to you, but goes back to the verse that the joy of the Lord is our strength. There's a time to there's a time to mourn, there's a time to there's a time to grow and move on. You still remember, you still miss them, but you're not letting that loss dictate how you live the rest of life, because I know Trevor would want me to move on and enjoy life and grow, and it's like you can be so consumed by that. And I think a lot of people have let that happen instead of, that Wii moment. That's what I'm gonna call it, the Wii moment, and it's like something so silly. And it's like, God cares about that. He cares that we're happy. He wants us to have a joy-filled life. And so many people think that God is this stuffy old dude, and he's not. He's love.
No.
Yeah. And I think that's
absolutely,
that's so important. I love that, man. That's such a good testimony of what God provided. 2 cents. You know what I mean? Like you were saying, it was such a weird amount of money.
Right.
Doesn't really make much sense, but it was like you had not just enough, you had more than enough.
I did.
You had more than enough.
Yeah. Praise God for the little things. God works, and that's I guess part of the point is that, man, he can use anything to bring healing, and we just thank him for that. It's a God story. Good, but God works too. Absolutely, he does. He's acquainted with our grief. Yes, he is. Hebrews talks about how how Jesus, our great high priest, how he knows, he can sympathize with us because he's been through everything we go through, and that's so true. I've never been in any situation in my life, which is a few decades old now, where he hasn't been there and to help me through, every step of the way. So yeah. Thanks for letting me share that story, though. I appreciate you listening, and everybody in the chat and watching. Thank you for listening. I hope that encouraged you.
Yeah, man, that encouraged me because, like I said, you get to this point in your life where you think it's all about the rules and regulation. Well, God doesn't like this, God doesn't like that, and it's like God's not, he's not concerned about, is your white shirt, starched to death? Like, like he doesn't care anything about that, and he's a good father, and he's a friend, and I think people need. I need that every day. It's like that reminder. It's like, hey, I'm not, having to. I feel like a lot of people look at religion and that's what they see. They see religion. They don't see that relationship.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Which is sometimes the fault of us who are in the relationship for not showing it for what it is. Right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely. Sometimes things aren't what they seem on the surface, and it's worth taking a second look, and investigating a little further and a little deeper. And I would say that Jesus is one of those things because I tell you what, if you really give him a fair shot, he doesn't disappoint. And I think that he proves himself to be true. If you earnestly are actually seeking the truth, I think that he will reveal that, and reveal that he is the truth. So my family now, fast forward to today, like we will still get together. They got together yesterday. We were not able to be there because we don't live as close as we used to, but we still texted and wished everybody a good Easter. But they got together, and I'm sure that they shared a lot of laughs, and it's still hard. And I texted my aunt and uncle today and just told them I loved them. And I know today was hard for them because they should have had a birthday to celebrate, and they still could celebrate the birthday, but he wouldn't be there to celebrate it with. And so it's just different. And but they are now, it took them a long time to heal, more from that. And there's still a lot of grieving that happens, but they're in a place now where, they're able to minister to other people who have lost children. And it's something that I can't do because I haven't experienced that specifically, but they're able to reach people and encourage people who have been through that now, because they're, I don't want to like belittle it and say they're over it. They're not. There's still a process going on with them, but they are able to walk alongside other people who are going through the same thing in a way that not everybody can. And I think that's that there's a lot of power in that too. 100%. God uses that stuff too. So yeah. Well, let's see. I was going to do this giveaway at 10 o'clock, but we're a little early. So maybe we should, you want to start the other discussion about we could start the mid-gen refresh discussion and then maybe put a pause on it at 10 and because that's when the giveaway ends. And
yeah, if you want to remind everybody how to do that, and then we can jump into it.
Yeah, so I believe I pinned a comment on the live stream for this giveaway. It's a giveaway of this controller right here. I guess I can tell you about it if you're interested. It's from a company called Easy SMX. They sent me this controller to review. I reviewed it a couple of weeks ago. It is for Switch, PC, Steam, the Steam Deck, Mac. It works with iOS, So it's pretty versatile. It has Hall effect sticks and Hall effect triggers. It has the NFC built into it, so you can scan Amiibo if you are into that kind of thing. Yeah. So it has a turbo function if you like turbo buttons. But I'm gonna be giving that away, and so yeah, you can enter that by going to the pinned comment and clicking the link and telling me one kind and encouraging thing that you've done for somebody else, and that will enter you to win here in just a few minutes.
I haven't heard of a turbo button, and I don't even know how
they still exist, man.
I don't even remember the function of a turbo button, but hey, it's there. It's there.
It's there if you need to fire really quick at something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense.
Some of those boss battles, I guess, if you need to keep firing and your trigger fingers getting tired, use that turbo button.
I remember.
Oh yeah, it has gyro. Meep says it has gyro. Yes, it has gyro. I forgot about that. Mm-hmm.
I remember there was it was like an Olympic Games game back on the PS2, maybe. And you had to the cycling was kind of difficult. So I remember using the turbo on that. Just because you could press, because I think it was square and X, were the two legs, and you had to, pedal and everything. So you turn on the turbo, and yeah. He goes plus ultra, exactly.
Dan says you don't ever go turbo. Well, I don't actually, but they invented it for a reason. Somebody's using it.
You don't want to be Turbo Man?
Ooh, deep cut reference.
That's a deep cut. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Whatever happened to Sinbad?
What did happen to Sinbad? For real? He just disappeared.
Got all of his money, and then he's just I'm done.
Yeah, he might have.
That's what I would do. You know what I mean? It's oh
my gosh, the countdown is. The giveaway is counting down. It's you got 100 seconds left. 98, 97.
We get in there. Oh wow, he's had a stroke apparently.
Really?
Yeah, apparently he did an appearance 3 days ago after a stroke.
3 days ago it happened?
No, 3 days ago, he made an appearance. He's 67.
Yeah, he's not too old.
He's not old. That's not even old. In my book, that's not old. He doesn't no. He's definitely thinned down. Wow. First Kid. I haven't thought about First Kid in forever.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one.
Yep. Meep says even if he doesn't win, he'll probably buy one anyway. They are $30 for Hall effect sticks is pretty good. And I'll tell you what, he says, how's your original held up? They sent me two. They sent me the Pro model, which is this one that I'm giving away, and then just the regular model. And my son has taken over the regular model. I'm keeping that one, but he's taking it over, but pretty much. But it feels really good in the hand, and it seems really well built to me. I don't think it's going to fall apart or anything. I give it 2 thumbs up. I'd never even heard of this company before. So, and I'm surprised because of how good the build quality is.
That's cool. Finding something that is affordable in this day and age, especially, to the stick drift on the Switch. Oh my God, it is awful. We bought a Pro controller, and I wish I would have known about that. I bought a Pro controller 6 months ago. Used it once. But I wish I would have known about those, because that would have saved me $30. So
yeah. Yeah. I've been very impressed with it. All right. Well, the competition has ended. I've never used this service before. Like I said, this is my first one, so I think I just have to click draw winner, and it will pick somebody.
Yep. And
I
if
might
you don't
read
like them, you just do it again. I kid.
I might read a couple of these comments that people have said, the kind and encouraging thing, because some of them, I'm just going to pick out a couple of them.
I like
it. But let's see here. Let's see how this works. Okay, the winner is... I wish I had a drum roll button.
Hold on.
Do you for real have one?
I got one of those. I don't know if you heard that.
No, I didn't hear it.
Hold on. We got this. Where's my sound? Sorry, I'm looking for it.
Oh, I heard that. Okay. All right.
Sorry if that was loud.
No, it wasn't too loud. All right. So the winner is officially Bryce Rogers. Ooh, yeah. There we go.
I got you, fam.
Okay. I like it. Bryce Rogers has been picked the winner by Gleam.io. It says here, his comment, I'm going to read that, is that he says, I work at a university housing students. I spent an hour of my shift helping one family into the perfect space for their daughter with prohibiting disabilities. She deserves the same safe and exciting college experience as everyone. So happy to guide them. Pretty
That's
cool.
Awesome.
Good job, Bryce. You're right. I hope she has a great college experience. So I'll reach out to Bryce, and as long as he responds with his mailing address, I'll be sending this on to him. If he doesn't, I guess I'll pick a different winner and reach out to them. But for now, Bryce Rogers is the winner. A couple of these other ones. One person said, I texted a lady I used to deliver meals to just to see how she was doing. Just how she was doing now. That's pretty kind. That's pretty encouraging. I'm sure she appreciated that. Another person said, helping my mom cleaning around the house and helped put together and cleaned a dog crate since my family is getting a dog very soon. That is very helpful. They're like scattered through here. I was going grocery shopping for my neighbor who didn't have any food. I feel like I hear more and more stories like that. People who just need a little help.
Yep.
And so good job for doing that. I think this one, the sentence is missing who they did this for, so I'm going to just assume it's like parents or something, but made sure that they got the rest they needed while I cleaned the house. Very good. There we go. Or maybe a spouse. Maybe it's a spouse that needed rest. I helped a homeless person get some clothes, and then we went and got haircuts, and I brought him to lunch. Was just trying to spread some love, encouragement, and confidence, and a confidence boost. And one more here. My wife is a pre-K teacher with special needs students. I spent the last 2 days putting together little Easter bags for them that includes gadgets that they can fiddle with in their hands, and I hope they really like them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. So, Zach, guess what?
What?
still need to finish filling out the form on Gleam.io, but I have a second giveaway, and I'm going to announce it here. I don't have the link yet, but as soon as I do, I'm going to put it up. I'll post it. But a second giveaway of this is an even bigger one of this streaming starter kit.
Oh wow!
It is a HD webcam. Yeah, AverMedia HD webcam and headphones with a boom mic on it. So I'll be giving that away next, and that will be the winner will be selected on April 15th on this podcast on Monday, April 15th. So, again, as soon as I have that done, I'll probably try to finish it tonight and have that link ready. I will post it up on the channel, and you all can feel free to enter that one as well.
Let's go.
Money is tight these days. That's true.
Y'all can enter just some awesome giveaways here.
Yeah, I'm excited to give that one away.
That's awesome.
All right, so mid-gen refresh, Zach. My question is, do we need it? That's the question that has been looming over my head pretty much since 2020 when these consoles came out. I've been thinking about it for 4 years almost. Almost 4 years.
Okay, so I kind of wrote down some notes.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yours is the only podcast I write notes down other than Eat Sleep Anime, but like video game stuff I normally don't write notes down for. Like this console cycle is very weird for us because like we launched around COVID, so most people didn't start getting the console until like the last year or so. You know, there wasn't enough. Right. There were scalpers. It was very strange going into this console generation. So a lot of people have just got it. So it's like, oh, that's still new to me. And I understand, you know, making the slim versions or versions that are cheaper to manufacture, which is a normal thing to do. Like the slim PS5, we've gotten, you know, that with Xbox, you know, Elites back in the day. PlayStation has done it forever. So that doesn't bother me. It's when we get into the pro situation, especially for this generation. And I talked about it, I want to say last week or the week before, where the developers they're like, what is going on? We haven't even like got the majority out of the PlayStation 5. Like, why are we doing a pro at this point? Because we're not even getting the full capabilities out of it. Yeah. So I think it comes down to money. Like they're losing steam, I think, on sales of these consoles. So they're like, especially Xbox is not moving consoles like they need to. So it's like, okay, we've got to put out a better version, a bigger version to get more people to buy these. And I think a lot of it is for PlayStation. They put a ton of their money into the PSVR 2 and live service games, and they are not getting their money out of them. Like the Last of Us one that got canceled. So I think it's like they're over a barrel.
Apparently, you know, I mean, what I heard was that they are now regretting that they bought Bungie, who was supposed to, I guess, help them with the live service stuff. So that's kind of a big mess over there. It was what it seems like to me. But you're right about Xbox. I mean, they were literally giving away consoles around Christmas this past year for signing up for Verizon or signing up for something. You could just get a free Xbox Series X, which is insane that they were just giving those away. And even if you weren't getting it for free, they had them on sale for like $300 or something crazy like that. $300 or $350.
It's crazy.
You know, straight from them, they were on sale. Not even like through a third-party retailer who was trying to just get rid of stock. It was from Microsoft. So yeah, and it doesn't even it makes sense to me it doesn't make sense to me from the perspective of I think these machines are really great machines.
Mm.
And I don't know why they wouldn't be selling, other than, like St. Murdoch said, money is tight these days, and they are $500 machines, right? But other than that, I don't understand why they wouldn't be selling, except for the fact that we really haven't gotten that many games for either system that are just that weren't cross gen, right? Like Halo Infinite was still running on the Xbox One, and did Ragnarok run on the PS4 or not?
Yeah, it did.
I thought it did. Yeah, like a lot of games were coming out, cross-platform, and we are almost, we're 3.5 years into this generation. That's unheard of.
Yeah,
that this is still happening. Like we've never experienced this kind of, and COVID definitely played a role in it. I'm still of the mindset that I wish they had delayed the launch until the end of 2021. Like, just work on it a little longer, refine it, maybe update parts of it if you can, release it at the end of 2021 instead of 2020. Because it just, man, I think it kind of ruined it. And I do look at the games, and I think about previous generations. And when you look at a year one 360 title, for example, or PS3 title, and then you look at a year 6 or 7 PS3 or 360 title, there's a big difference in quality, a huge difference. And we so far haven't seen that difference take place. And, I keep hearing stuff like, well, Final Fantasy VII doesn't run it runs at 30 frames when you have it in 4K or whatever. It should be 60. Well, so that's a reason to get a PS5 Pro, so that we can have 4K 60. I'm like, well, is it? Like, you sure they couldn't squeeze out some more juice from the PS5? Like, are we really sure that we're getting the best thing we can get here? Or like we see more and more companies like release games and then patch them to fix them after the fact, because they've got to start bringing in some money so that they can continue so that they can actually finish the game. Like, I really think that's what's happening in a lot of cases, is that they got to start earning some money so that they can actually finish the game and pay their employees to finish the game. And and I think that because of that, things just aren't optimized as well as maybe they used to be in previous generations. The one system that I think really did need a mid-gen refresh is the Switch.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
And you can tell me what you think about this. I think that the Switch OLED, I think that was supposed to be a Switch Pro. But I think that because of inflation and stuff and COVID, that the upgrading the components became so expensive that they were like, nah, we'll just keep with the stockpile of chips that we already have and put an OLED screen in it and call it a day. And that's kind of where I am with that. And I could be completely wrong. I don't have any insider information or anything like that to say that, but that's just from the rumors that were going around. That's what it seems like maybe kind of happened. And that's the one that I think really needed it. And I don't really think that we need that, because I don't think we are utilizing the full power of the PS5 or the Series X yet.
Yeah. Well, and go ahead.
They keep talking about sales, and I think the real reason that that sales are slowing is because you're not outputting games like you used to. And even PlayStation's own admission is, hey, we don't have any games coming this year from our first party studios. So what rush do I have if I'm someone who doesn't have a PS5 to go out and buy a PS5 if there's no big new game on the horizon, coming right up quick? I don't really have the same push that I would have had in the PS4 generation. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, 100%. And to Xbox as well, they haven't had games in a long time. Like, they've struggled so hard in the last 3 to 4 years to put out good quality games. I feel like we are about to get a better slew of them, Senua's Saga 2, Indiana Jones. Like, there's a lot of them starting to come out where PlayStation has petered out because they put 60% of the development budget towards that. So I think that's a little bit harder to sell consoles. I think also Game Pass has made it where you don't have to have a console, where you can play majority of the games on PC, or you could do xCloud. Yeah. And to your point, with Switch, like the OLED came out in 2021.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see that. I'm excited to see. I hope they just stay with the same form factor, improve it a little bit better, get rid of those baby buttons and the stick drift. And I think it would be a fantastic, like, the Switch is already awesome and amazing, but Switch games, if they are first party, are always optimized to the max. Like, they get every bit out of that system because they don't put out mid console refreshes. They get as much as they can, and then they squeeze it even more. They make sure that the rag doesn't have anything left in it.
It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing what they get out of it. Yeah, it is.
But I feel like on the other end, it's like, oh, we got to put a new one out, and it's like, do you? Like, when developers are literally like, we haven't even got like all of it out of the base PS5 that came out 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I know it's like, yes, I'm sure we could get things that are running at, full 4K, maybe not 60, but like, instead of like up-resing stuff, like, we could get something like that, because the consoles are pretty powerful. The Xbox Series X is the most powerful console of all time, with all of its teraflops and its flopping. I love my Xbox Series X. I'm not saying that, but it's just like, you gotta kind of take it with a grain of salt at times, that this is a company wanting money.
Well, there's like some of the PS5 Pro rumors are even like that the CPU isn't changing, right? It's still CPU bound. And so there's some talk about how, is it really even going to help that much? Is it even going to really be able to push anything that much more because of that? So I don't know. I personally feel like they should take whatever budget they've been putting into mid-gen refreshes and put it into your studios and put out some games, because I think that would breathe more life into your console sales than putting out mid-gen refreshes will.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion, and I could be wrong, but that's just what I think about it.
Well, games sell a console. If there's no games, but you have an amazing console, people aren't going to buy it.
Yeah.
Like, they would. Case in point, the Switch has so many games on it because indies and all of that started putting their games on the Switch, because Steam became such a cesspool to put games over there. And they were like, it's easier and it's like more beneficial monetarily for us to put our games on Switch. We get a better cut of that and everything. And you look at it now, like the PlayStation 4, why it's sold so well, because the very beginning of the PlayStation 4 cycle was very heavy indie development. Like, it carried the PlayStation 4 until the game started coming out, and third party developments and all of that. But for a long time, PlayStation 4 did not have first party games to really push that console.
I'm trying to remember. You probably remember. You're a longtime PlayStation fan, and I'm sort of newer to PlayStation. I'm trying to remember the end of, like, the last half of the PS3 life. I know it started really rough because it was so expensive.
Oh yeah,
wasn't it like, was it $600 or $700? I want to say it was $700. That seems way too high, though.
I'm looking it up.
It was at least $600.
It was $499 for a 20 gigabyte model and $599 for the 60 gigabyte model.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's literally the same price as a PS5.
But for 20 gigs of space.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
everything was
and
still on disc back then.
right, it was. And so that price though was like a shock, and Xbox 360 kind of came out and really took over the beginning of that generation. But I feel like it flip flopped toward the end, where PlayStation 3 started to outsell because they got the price lowered.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it started, and they started getting more first party titles and more games that people were interested in.
Yep.
And Xbox started kind of resting on their laurels a little bit, and so PS3 ended up selling more at the end, but maybe just barely at the very end, right? So I think that helped the beginning of the PS4 cycle as well, because PlayStation was having a really good run in the last 2 or 3 years of the PS3's life cycle. I feel like they were already revved up and moving. So when they got to PS4, I think that really helped propel them forward. And I think the same thing about the PS5, because the end of the PS4's life, I mean, you had God of War, and you had Ghost of Tsushima, and you had, I mean, it's like Spider-Man. You had all these like really heavy hitting titles there in the last, 2 or 3 years. And they were just cooking, and then you get to the PS5, and I think that everybody was really excited because they had a bunch of trailers, right, about like, here's the games that are coming, and some of those, like, I thought when they first started showing trailers for the PS5, I thought Hogwarts Legacy was a PlayStation exclusive. And some of those deals were just like they had the marketing rights to it or whatever to push it, and made it seem like some things were exclusive when they weren't. But regardless, there were a lot of reasons to be excited about the PS5. And looking back on it now, I still really enjoy my PS5. I've enjoyed playing a bunch of games on it, but it hasn't been as like bam, 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 bam as I was led to believe it was going to be. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
And I feel the same way about the Xbox. The Xbox.
Yeah, if Xbox didn't have Game Pass, it would be dead. 100%. Like, if they did not invest in that, where there's constantly EA's games are going on there, you're getting indie games going on there. When a new game launches from an Xbox studio, it goes straight on there. Like, if they didn't have that console would not have lasted through the last few years, where there hasn't been any new games really coming out for the console. Back to your point on the PlayStation 3 going into the PlayStation 4, it also was a huge fumble on Xbox's part, where it was the always online, and like they were marketing it as a all-encompassing entertainment system, and people just wanted games and the whole like game sharing thing. And when PlayStation came out that night and was like, this is how you share a game, and then just handed a game over to somebody, that right there
disc.
It literally like slit Xbox's throat then. And then the guy that was over Xbox left, and then Phil came in, and I feel like Phil has literally been just cleaning up since then, and he's finally like turning the corner of actually making moves and deals.
Do you feel bad for Phil?
Oh, I do.
I kind of do, because I agree. I think he's had the mop cleaning up the whole time he's been there.
Yeah,
just from the bad decisions that were made before he had that role. And I think that I find it ironic now, because when they came out and announced the Xbox One, and they said it's always online, and by the way, we're going to put a camera in your living room with the Kinect too, because they all came with a Kinect at the beginning. So like, okay, so you're going to have a camera. Are you spying on me constantly, always online? Like that was a big deal for a lot of people, and they did not want that. And I find it very ironic now, because that's basically how we live now. Like, that's basically how we all live now.
Yeah.
But then there were huge privacy concerns with that. And poor Phil. But they ruined that generation because of those two decisions right there.
Yeah,
they did.
100%. And I feel like now that they have Xbox, like Activision Blizzard, he's having to clean up Bobby Kotick's whole like mess and everything, and trying to fix them. It's like from one mess to another, and
that's all he ever does.
Yeah, but Phil has stayed a very long time, and PlayStation has gone through 3 leaders since Phil came in.
He's been there 10 years now, right?
Yeah.
Hasn't he been there 10 years now?
I think so.
I think he just had or is about to have his 10th anniversary or whatever you call it.
Yeah. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah. Cleaning up Bobby Kotick stuff. That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, he's been 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time to be with the head of a company.
The head of a company.
Especially one that's been this stressful, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm trying to remember when Jack Tretton stepped down, like retired from PlayStation.
I don't know.
Because it was Jack Tretton and then Sean Layden, and then this week, guys, I'm so excited because Jim Ryan is gone.
He's gone. He's gone.
Me and Jack are going to have a party.
They've got an interim coming in, right?
Yes.
While they look for somebody permanent.
Yeah, I want to say he's somebody from I can't remember his name. He's Japanese.
I
think he's Japanese. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce his name, honestly.
Yeah. That's why I have Derek.
I saw a picture of him. I saw a picture of him today. But yeah, that's exciting because we'll see if things start to change and turn around and whatnot. But yeah. You got any last thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to add this. Jack Tretton left in 2014, so it's been Phil got the very end of his. So Jack Tretton, Sean Layden, and Jim Ryan, like he's had, I'll say 2. He's had 2 to his 1, and now an interim and then a third under his tenure and everything. But yeah, mid-gen console for this one, I think they need to wait.
What can I ask you one more question about it?
Mm-hmm.
If there is a PS5 Pro, and it does, as much as I don't want there to be,
yeah,
it looks like there's going to be one at the end of the year, at least right now. What do you think it's going to cost? Because I think that's really tricky.
It's going to be really tricky because right now it's like $450 and $500 are for the base in the disc model. I think it's usually 100 to 150 more than whatever the base model is.
But usually the base model has already dropped in price somewhat at this point.
True.
And that's what makes it so tricky to me, because I can see they've admitted, I believe, that they're like, we can't make this any cheaper.
Yeah, they've said that. They're not even
dropping both of them, both companies.
Yeah, they're not going to even drop the original price from the original PlayStations. I'm thinking $600 to $650 on this.
I think $649.99 is the least it will be.
Yeah, and
that is tough. That is a tough sell.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like it's going to be the same CPU. It's 10% faster. It does have some better ray tracing technology that they're adding to it.
Right.
But faster loading and a little bit better lighting doesn't like sell a console to me.
Do we need faster loading? I mean, the PS5 loads so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not really a selling point to me. Is it going to load 1 second faster? I mean, that's not enough of a difference.
Yeah, it's that incremental, like we're getting like diminishing returns at this point with technology, and it's like, why don't y'all just continue to figure out how to make the PlayStations cheaper so you're making more money? That's just sound business advice.
Yeah.
But what do I know? What do I know?
You know a lot of things.
I
like your takes. I like your takes. I really truly do. I like listening to Nerd Cave News and hearing what you guys have to say and your takes on stuff. I think you do a really good job, and I feel like you and Derek both, you do your research and you speak intelligently about the topics that you cover, and I really appreciate that.
I appreciate that,
man. So on that note, why don't you tell us where we can find you and what you're up to?
Guys, you can find us over on the Nerd Cave Network, youtube.com/Nerd Cave Network. We're also over on TikTok on that as well. We just started a new show. The first episode launched for everybody today called Eat, Sleep, Anime. So if you're into some animes, you should check out our first episode. We talk about Toonami, our kind of journey as like young kids watching anime, all into what we're watching right now. Does music make or break an anime show? It's a great time. About 2 hours of content. We'll be breaking it down more and more from there. But every week we do 2 streams. We do a stream where I hang out, play some games, chat, talk about what's going on in life. I do a vlog every Tuesday now, I guess every Tuesday now. And then
I've watched a couple of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
On your way to work?
On my way to work, man.
Yeah.
You know, got to make content when you can. And then Thursday, as Bo was saying, we have the Nerd Cave News. Wednesday. Wednesday, we have the Nerd Cave News at 7 p.m. Central Time. So come and hang out and get all the video game news that you need to know.
Nice. Very nice. Well, I appreciate you being on tonight, man.
Yeah.
And all of you who joined us and watched, thanks a lot for commenting and stuff. Congratulations to our winner, and look forward to that next giveaway of the streaming kit. And guess what, guys? We're going to catch you on the flippity flip. Stay kind and encouraging out there. Lots of love.